In nature, trees, animals, air, water, even soil seem to work together so perfectly. It's like a giant web of life where every part depends on another. This amazing system is called an ecosystem. An ecosystem is formed by biotic and abiotic factors and their interaction with each other. Biotic factors are the living things like plants, animals, and microorganisms. Abiotic factors are the non living things like water, air, sunlight, minerals, and soil. All these factors are connected and play important roles in maintaining balance in nature. Plants, also called producers, make their own food using sunlight. Herbivores like deer, goats, and cattle feed on these producers. Predators like lion and tigers keep the numbers of herbivores in check. Even the so called dirty organisms like caterpillar, termites, and dung insects are very useful. They help in cleaning the environment by decomposing dead and decaying matter. Every single organism, no matter how small or big, is important in keeping our environment clean and balanced. Let's take an example of a food chain. In a simple food chain, grass is eaten by a grasshopper. A grasshopper is eaten by a frog, and the frog is eaten by a snake, which may be eaten by an eagle. Each level in this chain is called a trophic level. Producers form the first level, herbivores the second, and so on. If we connect many such food chain, we get a food web, which shows how energy and food move through an ecosystem. But what happens if one link of this chain breaks? Imagine if the fallen leaves, dead trees, and animal carcasses were never decomposed. Our forests and villages would be filled with waste. That's why decomposers like fungi and bacteria are nature's cleanup team. They recycle nutrients back into the soil. Truly, life depends on other life. Now, let's think about how everything in the environment fits together. The natural environment includes air, water, land, living organisms, and sunlight. There are continuous interaction between living and non-living things. We also have artificial environment created by humans which affects the natural one. The environment consists of two main factors. One, biotic factor, the living components. Two, the abiotic factor, non-living component. The study of how these interact is called ecology. And the basic functional unit used to study it is called an ecosystem. An ecosystem can be as small as a pond or as large as an entire earth. For example, a bird that builds a nest on a tree and feeds on fish from the nearby pond is actually part of both tree ecosystem and pond ecosystem. This is how interconnected everything in nature is. We can also classify the components of the ecosystem as abiotic components. As I said, abiotic are non-living ones, which include physical factors like air, water, soil, sunlight, minerals, and then chemical factors like hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, calcium, and other elements. Biotic components includes producers, consumers, and decomposers. Consumers are further classified into primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. Uh, let's take a look at a real life example, right, to understand these. The paddy field ecosystem in South India is the one that we take. Paddy fields are often attacked by grasshoppers, and the frogs feed on the grasshoppers, and the snake feed on the frogs. But if frog population suddenly decline, grasshoppers will multiply and destroy the paddy crops. Snake will also have less food and may decline in number. This shows how the balance of ecosystem depends on every living thing in it. Now you might ask, what maintains this balance? Good question. In simple words, environmental balance is maintained because all these biotic and abiotic factors interact and support each other.